I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started with the No Half Step in hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're getting educated about the show, you can click on that merchandise tab. It's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck, like socks, wall art, throw pillow, bed sets, all of it's still totally available. And you know why? It's because we sold out so that you can buy in. Stick tap, love, and respect. Everybody's picked up some merchandise throughout the entire season. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation, so listen up. Here's how you can help us out. You can follow along and give us some support on the following social media platforms. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are on Facebook, and we are also on Twitter. Of course, we are on YouTube, and we thank you so much for all of the recent new subscribers. We sure do appreciate the momentum we are gaining with Renegades of Puck TV. Now, when it comes to the audio version of the podcast, you can find that on your preferred platform by searching Renegades of Puck, or just check out a couple of these different examples. Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, and so many others. Thanks to the Full Press NHL Network, we're being heard by more Renegades of Puck than ever, quickly approaching a significant milestone. Hope to be able to tell you about that by the end of the month. Venmo, that's how you can become a partner or a sponsor of the show. Just go to Venmo and search Renegades of Puck, or scan the QR code that is currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you out there watching and listening, we have been able to make significant upgrades, and you've been able to see throughout the part 1 to part 2 just how much the upgrades have made a difference when it comes to the camera, when it comes to the lighting, when it comes to the microphone, when it comes to the technology behind the scenes. We have been able to make some incredible gains and progress here in the bunker with the Renegades of Puck podcast. So again, that is directly because of each and every one of you out there. Thank you so much for your support of this independent hockey operation. Now, I know it's time to deliver the goods, so let's get to the No Half Step in hockey covers. Time for operation number 748. That's right, Op 748. And at this moment in hockey history, it's time for part 2 of the best of the Renegades of Puck season recap. You knew that's exactly where we're going because you were all caught up on part 1. If you did miss part 1, go back and check out episode number 747. That covered the first half of the year. Now, let's get into the second half of the season. It's a clip show, but it's some really good ones coming up on this one. Let's go back to News Channel 5 Plus. That's right. The news leader here in Nashville had the Renegades of Puck in studio. John Burton, sportscaster for News Channel 5, had me in studio to talk all things hockey, Nashville Predators, and much more than that. Here was John Burton and myself in studio talking all things broadcasting when it comes to the world of hockey.
An evening with Crazy Charlie Saunier from the Renegades of Puck podcast, and of course the hockey streaming service. Was it again?
Hockey TV.
Hockey TV.
Hey, you can find me calling Nashville Spartans games in the USPHL. I'll be calling my 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th games between Saturday night and Sunday morning.
Wow.
It's great, man. They built me, John, check this out, man. Yeah. They built me a balcony. I call it the perch because, you know, city pigeons, all that stuff, you know me. Mm-hmm. So the perch is up about 10 feet in the air, and it hangs out, and it's even with the glass. So as I'm calling a game, John, I'm over the ice. I can literally talk to the officials and ask them about things during the game, and I do. Hey, Stripes, what's that call? Hooking. All right, thank you. So I'm a one-man booth.
Okay.
I got my camera.
Oh, you're
operator.
like Vince Scully.
Please. Thank you. I'll just take it. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to say thank you.
Take it and
having
run,
my
man.
name mentioned with Vince Scully.
Yeah.
But I stand up there and I call the game start to finish. John, I'm so into it. I don't leave my broadcast platform from the minute I walk in till the minute I leave. One of the reasons is I need an extension ladder to get up there, and sometimes they take it away during the games. It is what it is. You know?
Right.
But I have never called a hockey game. I didn't know that actually surprises people until this season with the Nashville Spartans. I used my broadcasting career and I used the awards I have on the shelf that I never talk about to get my foot more than in the door. And I said, I'm your guy. You don't need to talk to anybody. Put me in. And I'm so, John John Tuggle over at the Nashville Spartans believed in me enough on that alone. My confidence, no resumes, no demos, no nothing. He said, you're this confident in being able to do this, you're my guy. Get up there.
Right.
I will never come out of that perch. If they leave me up there forever, I'll stay up there forever. 4 games a weekend, 6 games, I don't care. 30 games this year. John, I thought I had a passion for live radio before.
Yeah.
This calling a game thing, man,
What a rush, right?
You get to weave a tale, you get to come up with goal calls. Oh, you want to know what the coolest thing about me being a one-man booth is?
Yeah.
The lights for the goals, everything, the box is behind me up in the perch.
Yeah.
So when the Spartans score a goal, you'll notice it when you watch a game on hockey TV.
Yeah.
Suddenly I disappear for a few seconds after the goal. It's because I'm operating the lights over here. It's, John,
That is great.
I grew up wanting to be in the NHL. I wanted to be a starting goaltender for the New York Rangers. I wanted to be a starting catcher for the New York Yankees.
Sure.
I wanted to be, I don't know why I wanted to be the field goal kicker for the Giants. I don't know. Matt Barr had a big influence on me back in the day. But I dreamed of being at the highest levels and being a part of the pantheon of the top of all of sports. But I'm going to tell you something, John. I think I've discovered something about myself. I don't need the NHL. I don't need the MLB or the NFL. Put me in a rink where I can be a part of it. Put me in a rink where I can call the game, I can talk to the coach, AJ Bennett, the captain of the Spartans. I get a chance to talk to the guy after every game. What are we doing? We're learning how to interview each other.
Right.
He's learning how to do an interview because he's the captain of a hockey team. He's going to have to know how to do that moving forward. I'm going to need to know how to interview the captain because I'm going to be doing it for many years to come. John, being in front of the game, communicating what I see, being, as I like to say, being your witness, your tour guide, your storyteller,
Right.
your narrator,
Right.
the voice of the Nashville Spartans. It means a lot to me. I think you can tell. You've known me a long time.
I have. Yeah.
This has brought out my inner Pete Weber. I have a new level of passion for calling games that I never thought would be inside of me. When I graduated from MTSU with a broadcasting degree, everybody put me in the producer's chair. Said, man, you're great with the buttons, man. You know how to turn microphones on and off, and sometimes you can even plug a wire in. All right. So, you know, I became a producer for many, many years and very successful at it, award-winning. I wanted to do more. And now I'm doing it. The Renegades of Puck is one thing, and that's my life's work, my life's passion, and my brand. My whole life is built around the Renegades of Puck. RenegadesofPuck.com, thank you. But working for the Spartans, being a part of the USPHL, talking about this youth element, these prospects, John, it brings a whole new level of fire to me. And it's also taught me a really important lesson about broadcasting, and this is it right here. When I would talk about the NHL, I would point out a negative thing. This player is deficient in the following ways.
Right.
What I have learned, though, is when you're talking about young players, when you're talking about prospects, you're putting down the tape that the scout's going to watch, the college coach is going to watch, parents, grandparents, friends. So what I discovered about myself was I have to flip that coin to the other side, and in every play where someone did something negative, well, that means somebody else had to have done something positive to affect that play. I had to relearn how to communicate the game to people in a more positive way. Because the last thing I want, John, a goaltender gets a chance, gets his tape in front of a scout, his scholarship is on the line, and I say something about he's got a shaky glove hand.
Yeah.
Who am I? No, he doesn't have a shaky glove hand. He's working on that glove hand.
Right.
He's been here in practice. He's been out there after games doing drills. You ought to see how much time he's invested putting in on that. There's always something good that can be said, and that has changed not only my broadcasting perspective. Honestly, John, it's flipped my whole personality a little bit. You know me, I'm a street kid from Jersey who grew up fighting at the bus stops. If I saw you wearing the green that's playing this weekend, the blue I was wearing was probably going to have an issue with that, you know, and it was the same for all sports, all seasons. I grew up in a hostile environment on you know, the mean streets of Jersey, and I had to learn how to defend myself. I'm also not the biggest kid in the world, so I had to learn to be a scrapper. My voice and the words I used became my weapon. And what I realized, John, now that I'm calling games, I don't have to weaponize that. What I have to do is become the best communicator that I can be. And after 27 and a half years of doing it, to have that moment, that realization, man, it just lit another fire fire under me.
The Nashville Spartans came up a couple of times during that conversation with John Burton, of course, because during my responsibilities as voice of the Nashville Spartans, I was in studio to help promote a big weekend that was held at the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena. Incredibly proud to have been the voice of the Nashville Spartans in their first season of existence and for my rookie season as a play-by-play broadcaster. As a matter of fact, let's take you to the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena and let's catch up with a couple of highlights from me calling games with the Nashville Spartans.
Then we've got the Nashville Spartans Premier Division versus the Junior Canes coming up at noon. If the Spartans take care of business today, they cannot clinch a playoff spot, but they can take control of their own destiny, forcing the Junior Canes to have to win every single game on the way out. Backs against the wall, I expect the Junior Canes to be a very tough out today, but Captain A.J. Bennett said he'll have his squad ready, and I have no doubt about that. It was fierce, it was feisty, it was playoff atmosphere hockey. We had a full house here at the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena. Come on down and join us live in person, or check us out live on Hockey TV. The voice of the Nashville Spartans coming to you live from the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena. Prepare for glory, swords.
2-on-2 battle in the corner. Hard battle between the Spartans and the Junior Canes. No one able to dig the puck free. 1:25 to go on the power play for the Spartans. Puck finally comes out loose. The captain, A.J. Bennett, sends it across the zone to Nico Schoner, who rips that puck into the net. That's going to be a goal for the Nashville Spartans. Schoner's 47th goal of the season gives the Nashville Spartans a 1-0 lead. First to the bench for glove taps, and now you get to shout. Keeping the puck inside the blue line just briefly. Holly sends it back towards the blue line. Bennett keeps it in. Schoner is looking to drag, rips, and that puck is in the net. That's going to be another power play goal for the Nashville Spartans. 2-0 now in favor of Nashville. Carolina Junior Canes over the line. Anderson takes the shot. Duzek sliding across, got just a little bit of it. Bowerman takes the puck on the rush. He looks to build the wall, takes it to the net, and puts the puck in the net shorthanded. Nashville Spartans with the shorthanded goal. They celebrate just below us at the perch. What a rush by Gage Bowerman. An individual effort, you can tell by that howl. He's ready to shout. Duzek keeps the puck out. It was sitting right on the goal line in the blue paint, and Duzek does a great job behind the play. Duzek collecting his stick, and the Spartans go down the ice and score a goal. I missed it because Duzek behind the play is down. So we've got a Spartans goal on one end of the ice, and we've got the starting goaltender for the Spartans down injured on the far end of the ice. 7:22 to go in the game, 4-4. We'll shout briefly, and then we'll check on Daniel Duzek. Skates it out into the neutral zone. Slick pass between Keenan and Skates. Keenan now goes deep into the zone below the goal line. Spartans are about to be shorthanded right now. Spartans on the power play right now. Keenan takes the puck to the net and slides it in. The Nashville Spartans score just seconds into the power play. Ronan Keenan taking the slow loop around, then suddenly knifes to the net and tucks the puck in. We've got a one-goal game again. Parker is off to the races. Breakaway for the Nashville Spartans, and Parker scores! We've got a tie game, 6-6. Parker on the breakaway. The Spartans have tied the game at 6. He looks to get it across for Stuckey. Stuckey turns and looks to fire it back into the slot area. No one home for the pass right there. A.J. Bennett goes into the corner. He's going to have to go to work against Prince right here. Actually switches off with his defensive partner, Wolfenbarger, who takes the man into the corner. Now Bennett out front trying to work off of Bolt, but it is the Carolina Junior Canes getting the goal from behind the goal line. A bad angle shot, perhaps off of a body and into the net. 7-6 in favor of the Carolina Junior Canes. An unfortunate bounce there for the Nashville Spartans. Seconds to go here in the game. That puck is going to go. No icing. Icing waved off at the very last second. Bennett to Grant. 25 seconds to go. Holly chips the puck. It goes in on the net. The defender decides to play it into the corner after the half wall. A.J. Bennett gloves the puck down, but he cannot keep it in at the blue line. 15 seconds to go. Carolina tries to fire the puck to the empty net. They cannot get it through. Holly into the offensive zone. Spartans are going to get one more look at it right here. 5 seconds to go in this game. Grant plays the puck down deep. Keenan to the slot. Spartans cannot get the shot. Spartans fall. Spartans fall. 7-6 here at the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena.
One last look.
And to wrap up the season for the Spartans, although they did not make the playoffs, I was at least able to attain some hardware in the postseason. I was named USPHL Elite Broadcaster of the Year. What an incredible honor for my rookie season. I am so incredibly thankful and so appreciative. I cannot wait to get back in the perch and call another season of Nashville Spartans hockey. Had a chance to speak with team management just briefly upon winning the award and was told they would be more than happy to have me back with the team next year. I cannot wait. Stick taps, love, and respect to everybody over there at the Nashville Spartans organization. Now, it wasn't all good news this second half of the season. Now, for the Nashville Predators, things had gotten really bleak, very dark over at Bridgestone Arena, and what had become one of the most beloved traditions in Nashville Predators history, throwing a catfish on the ice, had suddenly taken a turn. I'll turn it over to this segment here from Renegades of Puck TV. It's a catfish too far. You know, tonight something happened at Bridgestone Arena that I never thought that I would see. Tonight, during the third period, out of frustration, a Nashville Predators fan took a catfish and threw it onto the ice during play. Now, in case you didn't hear me earlier, that is never acceptable, no matter how frustrated you get, and it should never have happened. But seeing that catfish thrown on the ice during gameplay, causing a stoppage, causing potentially problems for the team moving forward with what has been one of the most beloved traditions in franchise history, it made me start thinking, well, I didn't have much else to think about during the third period as the Nashville Predators were not performing up to standard on their own home rink, and I was listening to Let's Go Bruins chants throughout the entire third period. So it gave me time to think about this catfish that suddenly was thrown onto the ice, and it was, in fact, a catfish too far. And the Preds have reached a nexus point tonight, and one fan just took the beloved tradition of throwing a catfish on the ice, and he turned it into a moment of protest through frustration. Now, again, that can never happen, should never happen, and I hope it never happens again. But this particular person thought in his frustration that it was time to just throw his catfish over the glass and exit the arena, probably heading off to get arrested. Taking that catfish and throwing it on the ice in frustration was a true sign of protest by this one fan. And the franchise, it has hit a turning point. The fun is gone. And in tonight's 5-0 loss versus the Boston Bruins, the Band-Aid was fully ripped off. Section 303, largely filled with Boston Bruins fans. The visiting team from the Eastern Conference had enough fans to take over what has been, since day one, the stronghold section for Nashville Predators fanatics. I can only imagine those survivors of Section 303 that have been there, Mark Hollingsworth, Derek Hines, and so many others. I can only imagine what they felt tonight sitting there in Section 303 as they had to hear "Let's Go Bruins" rain down over them, overpowering them. Just too much. Combine that with the numerous empty seats in the building that we've seen not only tonight against the Boston Bruins, but in numerous home games as of late. This has to be a wake-up call to everybody over at 501 Broadway. Everyone from the top down needs to understand that tonight was a turning point for this franchise and for this fan base. The team core, they once captured the imagination of every sports fan in Nashville. 60,000 people downtown to watch that core group take on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Stanley Cup final. That was quite a bit of time ago. And now, that core is long broken. Even with career years and record seasons last year, the Nashville Predators were barely able to squeak into the playoffs. And we all remember what happened when they did barely squeak into the playoffs. They were absolutely routed by last year's class team in the NHL, the Colorado Avalanche, in the only sweep in Nashville Predators franchise history. It was a measuring stick moment for the Nashville Predators that the Nashville Predators failed to measure up to. Coming into this season, there was a lot of good talk. There was a lot that was going to happen. There were some additions made to the team. The competitive rebuild, as has been sold since 2019, continued on. The team core now is broken. The team core is ready to be broken up. But that leads us to some really important questions. Who is going to be broken up from the team core? Is this going to be a complete removal of all of the familiar names and all of the big contracts that the Nashville Predators have pieced together over the last generation of this franchise? How will they go about doing it? Will they clean house going into the trade deadline coming up here soon? We've already heard the rumors being floated to radio hosts and some other NHL insiders that the Nashville Predators are not only going to be sellers if they continue this trend, but that David Poile will pick up the phone and have a conversation about anyone. What does that actually mean? So who, how, most importantly, will David Poile be the one rebuilding this? With the next decade plus of this Nashville Predators franchise up in the air and no clear mission statement and no clear direction, is David Poile the right general manager at this time to break apart this core and send these assets across the landscape of the NHL in return for what? What is the plan for prospects, for draft picks, for the next general manager? For current rostered players that could come in and reshape this Nashville Predators team somehow between the next 30 games and next season? Is David Poile the right general manager with all of his credentials, being a Hall of Famer, being the winningest general manager in NHL history, with all of those credentials? Is it time for him to be deciding what will happen with this Nashville Predators franchise for the next decade? It's not just David Poile. It's not just the general manager. It's not just the lack of clear vision and direction with the roster itself. It is the coaching staff. Coaches made decisions this season that have left the team flat and confounded. Closed-door meetings without the coaches, that's always something to pay attention to. Word salad. I've always appreciated the fact that John Hines is willing to give full, lengthy answers to how he thinks and why he makes decisions. But frankly, as of late, it's just become word salad. None of the things he is talking about are happening in application out there on the ice or with the players or with the team. Some of the most recent decisions, starting Lankinen versus Arizona and then sacrificing UC Saros to the Boston Bruins. 2 points could have been attained against the Arizona Coyotes with a Vezina-caliber goaltender in net, even with a flat Nashville Predators team in that game. But against the Boston Bruins, UC Saros never had a chance. Not only did you sacrifice your starting goaltender, but you sacrificed his confidence going forward into the next series of games. Another measuring stick moment where the Nashville Predators failed to measure up. The coaching staff has been making difficult and troubling decisions all season long. I give you that example right there, but what about the inability to find any cohesion in the lines this season? The Nashville Predators had remained relatively healthy until Philip Forsberg. But where was the cohesiveness in the units? Where were the combinations that had any chemistry? A failure for 50-plus games now. It's okay to be experimenting and moving pieces around, but ultimately you have to find some cohesion in the lineup. And when several of these players have been together for several years now and they cannot find any chemistry or cohesion, then I think we all know where this is leading to. The general manager, the coaching staff, the players, all of them share blame in this particular situation. And just what about the obsession with Cole Smith? The sacrifice of Eeli Tolvanen this season and what he is now accomplishing, exposing the Nashville Predators even further in these examples that I am giving right here. Numerous options could have been in this lineup this season over Cole Smith. The team, the front office, the coaching staff, they've all crossed the line tonight. And if the best you can do against the class of the NHL is a listless, passionless 60 minutes of hockey, then it's not time for a closed-door meeting or leaking rumors to the media. It's time for real change. And that time is now. It's time to break up the core of this team. The competitive rebuild era is ever. Tonight was simply a catfish too far. And it would indeed prove to be a catfish too far, as David Poile would announce his retirement shortly after that, turning the team over to Barry Trotz for his first ever stint as a general manager. Now, word is still to come about John Hynes and his future with the Nashville Predators, but we have already moved on from John Hynes here with the Renegades of Puck and in the bunker, and we have already found the perfect replacement for the Nashville Predators moving forward. As a matter of fact, we would like if you would consider the case for Carl. I'm Charlie Saunier from the Renegades of Puck, and this is the case for Carl, a Renegades of Puck special commentary. Now, the Nashville Predators will be hiring a new coach soon in their franchise history. There is no doubt about that. This is not a case looking backwards. This is a case looking forward. This case is for Carl Taylor to become the next head coach of the Nashville Predators. I'd like to begin with taking you back and telling you a little bit about the background of head coach of the Milwaukee Admirals, Carl Taylor. He is from North Bay, Ontario. When he was a player, he was a forward and also a defenseman at times during his playing career. He's currently 51 years of age, and after his junior career ended in the year 1991, he played 5 years in college at the University of New Brunswick. After completing 5 years at the University of New Brunswick as a player, he left hockey to complete his master's degree in 1996 in sports management. He would return to the University of New Brunswick as the assistant coach in 1997. And in 1998, the University of New Brunswick would win the CIAU championship. In May of 2000, Carl Taylor would be named Red Deer College assistant coach for 3 seasons. In 2005, he would move to the ECHL and the Reading Royals as the director of hockey operations. The Reading Royals, under his watch, would have a record of 112, 82, and 22 in 3 seasons. All 3 of those teams would make the playoffs. In 2008, continuing to move up the rankings in the Ontario Reign, head coach for the LA Kings ECHL affiliate, their first season. In 2009, they became the Pacific Division champions of the ECHL. In 2011, he accepted the assistant coaching job with the Chicago Wolves in the AHL, one of the premier AHL hockey clubs of the last many years. In 2014, he was named the assistant coach of the Portland Winter Hawks, and then he was recruited by the Texas Stars of the AHL in 2015. Now, the Texas Stars have also been one of the premier teams in the AHL in recent history. He would go on to spend 4 years with the team before becoming head coach of the Milwaukee Admirals in the 2019-2020 season. In 2019-2020, in his first year with the Milwaukee Admirals, he would be named the league's most outstanding coach, and he would also get an opportunity to coach the Nashville Predators on an emergency call-up basis on December the 17th of the year 2021, and would have a 5-2 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. So one opportunity in the NHL, one victory. Now, with the Admirals, since becoming their head coach, 2019-2020, his first season, a record of 41-14-8, a 714 winning percentage, and a division championship in the Central Division. Unfortunately, while the Milwaukee Admirals seemed to be marching straight towards a championship that season, the playoffs for the AHL had to be canceled due to the COVID outbreak. The next season for the Milwaukee Admirals was also completely canceled as the Milwaukee Admirals would combine with the Chicago Wolves. Carl Taylor would, of course, remain with the Nashville Predators organization during that season. 2021-22, when the Admirals got back on the ice, they had a record of 39-28-9, finished third in the Central Division, but this caveat, very important. They won their first playoff series in over a decade by defeating the Manitoba Moose before falling to the powerhouse Chicago Wolves of the AHL last season. Now, this season with the Milwaukee Admirals, Carl Taylor currently has the Ads at 32-18-5, second place in the Central Division, 1 point out of first as of the recording of this broadcast. Now, players for Carl Taylor, the Nashville Predators, they are arriving prepared and they are exceeding expectations. The Nashville Predators had some injuries throughout the season but remained relatively healthy, but seemed like each time one of these players got a call-up, they were not only prepared to fill in, but they exceeded the expectations for a call-up player in that particular opportunity. Now, as the season has progressed, the Nashville Predators have, of course, had to deal with several injuries, and now, after the trade deadline, have dealt with the trading and dismantling of several core and veteran players, leaving plenty of opportunities for young Nashville Predators prospects that have played mostly under Carl Taylor in their career. They are showing up more prepared than expected, and they are delivering the goods and exceeding expectations. Luke Evangelista is the most recent case and the most recent story, fully prepared for the NHL in his first couple of games after less than 1 full year within the AHL with Carl Taylor. Luke Evangelista has 41 points in Milwaukee this season and just scored his first 2 goals in the NHL in the Nashville Predators' most recent game. He's fully prepared to be here at this level. Tommy Novak, 26 points in the AHL, 23 points in the NHL this season. Tommy Novak is proving that he is a reliable player no matter where you put him in the lineup, first line through fourth line, give him the opportunity at center. He has shown he has the poise and professionalism to deliver the goods even at such a young age. Glass is another example. Thought of to be a project, now 24 points this season and getting first-line center opportunities. Clearly, something in his development process has clicked. There are other examples. Parsonen had 9 points in 10 games in Milwaukee, then came to the NHL and was fully prepared to take over first-line center minutes while the Nashville Predators needed, and now has 23 points at the NHL level this season. There's other examples. Leonard, Gross have had opportunities to come up, and we have seen them progressing. Afanasyev is also progressing. He is a very young prospect for this Nashville Predators team, but most importantly, Yaroslav Askarov, the most unique personality in the entire American Hockey League, is being coached right now by Carl Taylor. The antics, the routines, the amount of fun, the character that Askarov brings to the game is only equaled by his actual skill level and play. Carl Taylor, so far in the first full season of having Askarov as his netminder, has been masterful in balancing the fun yet professionalism of being a hockey player in the Nashville Predators system. It is going to be of critical importance moving forward in this Nashville Predators franchise that someone is prepared and fully capable of handling the dynamic skill, talent, and personality of Yaroslav Askarov moving forward. Carl Taylor is already well out in front of showing that. Again, other players progressing, the Milwaukee Admirals marching towards the playoffs, and they're expected to make a long run this spring. And after Carl Taylor takes care of business in the AHL this postseason, well, and I fully expect that the Nashville Predators should promote him to the NHL level. It is going to be the most important training camp for this Nashville Predators franchise since the first training camp in franchise history. Speaking of that first camp by the Nashville Predators in their franchise history, well, it was led by Barry Trotz, the first ever head coach in Nashville Predators franchise history. And just quickly give you a little background on the first ever head coach in Nashville Predators franchise history. He finished his junior career in 1982 in Manitoba. In 1984, with the University of Manitoba, became an assistant coach. In 1985, became general manager and head coach of the Dauphin Kings. That's the team he finished playing his career with in juniors. In 1987, became the head coach of the University of Manitoba. In 1992, head coach of the Baltimore Skipjacks. That team was relocated to Portland and renamed the Pirates. And in 1994, Barry Trotz would lead the Portland Pirates to the Calder Cup Championship. He would also win the Outstanding Coach in the AHL for that season. In 1998, he would be named the first coach in Nashville Predators history at 36 years old. He would go on to coach for the Nashville Predators for 15 seasons, 1,196 games, and he would be a Jack Adams finalist. I give you Barry Trotz's background after giving you Carl Taylor's background because you can't help but notice the similarities. Neither of these players made it to the NHL, but both significantly played for large portions of their life. Both have college coaching experience. Both have scouting and operations background at junior and minor league levels. Both have AHL head coaching experience. Both have won AHL Coach of the Year. But now one has the power to give the other the opportunity. Poyle once gave that opportunity to Barry Trotz, and now Barry Trotz can give that opportunity to Carl Taylor. Nothing is guaranteed. Carl Taylor's hiring does not mean that he will coach for 15 years with the Nashville Predators or 15 years in the NHL at all. But at this moment in time, it is obvious that Carl Taylor has done the work, is prepared for the next level, has proven it with numerous examples, and should be the leader and next coach of the Nashville Predators to lead these same prospects that he already has placed in the highest level of professional hockey in North America. Let him finish the job in Milwaukee. Let the Admirals go on their run. Then it's time to promote, and it's time to let Carl Taylor have his opportunity as the next head coach of the Nashville Predators and lead the next generation through what is guaranteed to be the most significant and important training camp that the Nashville Predators have had in 25 years. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. This has been a Renegades of Puck special commentary, The Case for Carl. Something incredibly special we got to do this year as the Renegades of Puck was we finally got to put our hockey club on the ice. As captain of the Renegades of Puck, not just here in the bunker, not just on the podcast, but also on the ice with the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club. It was an incredible, incredible moment to finally get a team out there on the ice. We are still in the middle of training camp, and you're about to hear an update about that training camp, but we're moving towards our first ever season. We've almost got our roster solidified. Let me take you back just a couple of weeks to when we were just getting started with our training camp. I'm putting the papers down right here, and I'm picking this up because I want to talk to you about the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club. Now listen, the first couple of weeks, the maximum stress test, it was tough. My core beliefs, my values were tested in every possible way. The entire concept of why I started the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club, what the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club is about, all of it was tested to the absolute maximum and extreme And it turns out maybe that's the best thing that could have happened for me as a leader, for me putting together my hockey club going forward. After the first couple of weeks of stress testing, we knew we needed to reevaluate. We needed to do something a little bit differently, at least for the short term, to get our club where it needed to be. So we pulled back a little bit, and we've gone into a rigorous 12-week training camp. Every Sunday night, the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena in Nolensville, the Renegades of Puck are welcoming all D-League skaters and some lower C-League skaters as well. Iron sharpens iron, after all. Well, I've got to tell you, a couple of images will be appearing on the screen as I talk about the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club. The scrimmages have been incredible. The opposition team has been wonderful. They understand the mission. The mission is for all of us to improve at playing the game of hockey and to improve our overall hockey community. The fellas in my room are absolutely incredible. They've displayed otherworldly patience. Skip has shown incredible courage in taking the ice as a true rookie. Others returning from the seeming abyss of retirement from the rec leagues of the Middle Tennessee area. All coming back, all starting to come together, all skating together, learning, growing. Now things are starting to work. Our first full scrimmage tonight, 5-5 was the final. We put 90 minutes on the clock. We locked the gates, and we skated until we couldn't skate any longer. I played defense. I played forward. I played all over the ice. I managed to carry the puck from end to end and hit the crossbar. Maybe the best shot I've ever fired off in my entire life. The reason I was able to do that and the reason I was able to get off such a good shot is because I've been working incredibly hard in these practices and these scrimmages to be able to make plays like that. Everyone around me is working incredibly hard. When I look out there and I see Bryce and TJ hooking up for a combination back and forth, give and go to bring us within one goal there late in the third period. And then when I see the rest of the squad going out there and bringing the jam to tie that game up at 5 apiece, then locking it down hard at the end, securing us that tie, while our netminder Cade Corbin went ahead and held things down. Truly impressive to see it developing before my very eyes. The pictures you're seeing are just the beginnings of the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club. There'll be video, and there'll be more photos, and there'll be a lot more talk about this particular hockey team. But for now, just a sample, just a taste of what we've been doing. What we're doing is putting the work in. We're getting to know each other. We're playing the greatest game that's ever been created. And we're doing it with great enthusiasm, and we're having a tremendous amount of fun. I cannot wait to see Ben and Zach back in the lineup next week. Poole, come on, bro. Got to get in the lineup. Got to get you off IR. Brandon Adams coming off of IR. Andrew Thomas coming off of IR. The team is coming together. I am so happy. And the Kyles, man. Sometimes I forget about the Kyles because they're such steady forces out there. But Kyle Woodall, you're an incredible player. And Kyle Helander's been helping me run the bench and run the locker room and everything. And it's just been incredible. I'm so thankful and appreciative of everybody with the group. As a matter of fact, I had so much energy after the scrimmage, finished up 5-5. Not only did we hang out, talk a little more hockey with the fellows at the rink, but then came home, wrote this show, came out here and recorded this podcast in the bunker. Renegades of Puck, I am so proud to be your captain, and I cannot wait to see where this training camp is going to take us. What started as the worst possible start maybe in hockey history is going to turn out to be something incredible. The story is just getting started. I can't wait to get back on the ice with all of you. 90 straight minutes of 5-on-5, up and down, no whistles, no face-offs, no intermissions. That's how we get better. We go out there and we take as many shifts as we can. We skate as hard as we can, and we try to play the game the best that we can. I hit the crossbar twice tonight. I don't think I've ever hit the crossbar in my life. Damn it, I'm pissed off about that. But you know what? I'm going to be a much better hockey player, regardless of the crossbar, regardless of that. I'm doing things I've never done before. I'm getting my confidence back. I can't wait for you to see more about the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club. And finally, our signature event of the second half of the season, Home base freak out to a tailgate brewery. Of course, Music Row, Demonbreun Street. What an incredible event it was. Hundreds of Renegades coming out and descending upon Music Row for a night celebrating all things in our hockey community. It was an absolute blast. We had special guests. We had celebrities. We had VIPs, our friends, our families, hockey players at every level, Zamboni drivers, rink managers. We had everybody in attendance. That's what Home Base Freakout is all about. Getting us all together in a night of positivity and fun and celebrating the great game. Here is my recap from that very night after Home Base Freakout. All right, let's take you back to last night. Let's go back to Tailgate Brewery, Music Row, 1538 Demonbreun. Let's go back to how the day unfolded. I'm wearing a Savannah Ghost Pirates shirt here in the bunker this evening because I'm going to tell you, Renegades, I had so much fun giving stuff away that I gave away virtually every piece of Renegades of Puck merchandise that existed in and around the bunker. I gave away jerseys, t-shirts, pucks, stickers, pins, posters. We gave away everything at Home Base Freakout 2 at Tailgate Brewery, and it was absolutely incredible. The first place starts with Tailgate Brewery. Just an incredible job. There are always difficulties in the planning and the execution of shows. Tailgate Brewery has shown the flexibility and the willingness to allow us to solve problems as they arise, and that's great. That shows great trust, great partnership, and I'm so happy to be working with Tailgate Brewery. It was great to work with Trey, getting the beer on tap this year. The Renegades of Puck Cream Ale, wonderful to see the artist in-house making the sign. So many incredible things happening before the event even started. And then when we got to the event, all the Renegades of Puck were in there to be on stage with the entire group, to have Jeff Middleton and Sean C. Smith and Brian Basson on stage, to have us doing our thing, to have us talking to the live audience, to have the live audience reacting to us the way that they were. It was just absolutely incredible. It was so much fun. And then to have all the different Renegades come in and come through. So many of my friends in production circles from around the city stopped by, and it was so great to see every one of them because they know how much work goes into an event like this. So for them to come out and support it, you know that I really, really put in the effort and put in the hard work and earned their trust and willingness to come out to an event when, frankly, I know how busy they are. To have all of the different Preds, analysts, media members, broadcasters, to have everybody from the hockey community, players, Zamboni drivers, Renegades of Puck Hockey Club members. It was just incredible. And we had a great time, and it was great fun. And I'm so excited to tell you that Tailgate Brewery was so excited that the manager stopped me before we even finished closing the event. And he said, after I get some rest, which is going to need a little bit of rest, he said, let's talk about Home Base Freakout 3. Seriously, let's already start planning it. Let's not wait until next year to figure it out. Let's start doing it now. So Tailgate Brewery is very much interested in continuing a partnership with the Renegades Puck. The Renegades Puck are very much interested in continuing that partnership with Tailgate Brewery. It's a match made in hockey, and I'm so incredibly happy. In the captain's speech, I talked, and I hope to have some video of this coming up on the next episode. I talked about breaking down the barriers that exist between us and finding the commonalities, finding what exists, what is the easiest things in common. We all breathe, we all drink, we all eat, we all live, we all die. That's 5 simple things that we all have in common. And once you can find 5 things in common, you can find so many more similar things about each other. When we finally get all of the things that we have in common out of the way, then you'll find yourself to the end of the list, and then you'll start to think, what are our differences? And your differences will be so minute and so minuscule, no matter what they are, that you'll realize that we have a million things in common. And for so many of us, especially you watching and listening, it's about hockey. It's about watching hockey, loving hockey. You can love whatever team you want, but it's all about the game itself. It's not about what colors you wear. We all have it in common. We love the sport of hockey, whether you play it, whether you watch it, whether you grew up with it, or whether you just found it a week ago. We all come to the same conclusion. We love the sport of hockey. We have that in common. Let's stop putting up these fake walls and barriers between our ability to become a bigger and better hockey community. Let's strive for excellence. Let's become great. Let's execute the no half-stepping lifestyle each and every day in each and every way. That's what I talked about last night on stage with the Renegades of Puck live and in attendance, and I know that the words sunk in, and I know that each and every one of them were paying close attention. That's what the captain does. The captain sets the tone, and I will lead by example. So thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you that came out for Home Base Freakout 2, having another handshake summit with Willie Donick, having all of the Renegades, all the different media members, having Dan Bradley back in town and coming in for the event. So a multi-state event is what it turned out to be yet again this year, and we're so proud. Hundreds of Renegades. I don't know what the final head count was. It was tough to keep track. We had 4 different rooms going and active at the event and at all different times, including the overflow outside on the deck. Just simply an incredible night. I'll have more to say about this event, and I'll have more to say about all of these different topics coming soon. But for now, just simply cheers, a toast to each and every one of you Renegades at Puck who made the journey, came out to Home Base Freakout 2. Some of you had never been to one of our events. Some of you had never been to anything like that before. And I think you left with a warm and fuzzy at the end of the night. And I think that we can count on having you back in the trenches with us again soon. Thank you guys. We sure do appreciate it. It was so great meeting you. Me getting an opportunity to glad hand, shake hands, and look in the eye and talk to the Renegades directly. There is no captain and no leader that does it better than I do. So every opportunity I have to spend that time with you, I'm going to take that advantage and take that opportunity. Renegades, I love every one of you. Thank you so much. It was an incredible year. It's going to be an incredible year cycle next year. We found our Super Bowl. We found our WrestleMania. It's called Home Base Freakout. We're going to be up to number 3 next year. And when we keep doing this for years and years and years, that'll give us the opportunity to build it from a couple hundred to a couple thousand, and who knows how far beyond. The podcast already getting a couple of million listens a year. Maybe one day that's how many we'll have at Home Base Freakout. I will not limit the possibilities of this show. There is no such thing as a ceiling for what we can accomplish. Back when we first started this thing, there wasn't a single person listening to it. Now, over millions are consuming this incredible, positive hockey product. We love each and every one of you. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.